So many of you have been following along on this channel for quite some time. In fact, I know some of you have been here for a year or 2 years watching videos, and I would love to know how long you've been following this channel down below. But in today's video, I am going to break down for you 5 important and surprising signs that you may be becoming securely attached. And my hope for you is that you will start to understand these really important pillars of what it means to become securely attached, but also that you'll be able to highlight, oh yeah, maybe you've come a long way on 3 of them and you're like, oh, those 2 I could still work on, or yeah, those 3 I'm just crushing it, but I still have a little work to do on this one here. So my hope for you is that this is sort of a roadmap and gives you guidance and direction about your next steps to truly becoming secure. So let me know how many of the 5 you have down below in the comments as well. Here's the first one. You find yourself talking about your feelings more openly. Now, probably at first thought, you're like, oh, but what if you're anxiously attached? Like, anxious attachment styles always talk about their feelings more openly. That's actually not the case. Of course, if you're dismissive avoidant or fearful avoidant, it's a big sign that you're becoming more secure. If you are sharing more, you are opening up more. But one thing that's really important to recognize is that anxious attachment styles do not share their feelings if they think that it's going to make them a burden or more likely to be abandoned. So there's almost this hidden emotional unavailability that happens with an anxious attachment style. You may even find yourself not wanting to say too much or be too much. So if somebody hurts your feelings, you might hold that down, kind of repress it, and then it usually comes out or sort of pours out in bigger ways later on. And so, what you'd see here if you were anxious is that you'll talk more directly. Hey, that comment you just made, that actually didn't feel good for me. That kind of hurt. Can you, just bring me some clarity on why you said that? Like, you'll be able to talk openly and vulnerably about things more in real time and address them more directly, rather than often anxious attachment styles will hold things in and then kind of people please and then try to indirectly kind of share about their feelings or hold them in so they're not a burden or get abandoned. And then later on, those feelings come out in a maladaptive way. So again, all attachment styles, this totally applies to on the road to becoming more secure. Number 2, you'll find yourself not being able to shove conflict under the rug. Once you, and I'll speak from personal experience as somebody who was fearful avoidant, as many of you know, if you've been following this channel, literally the biggest change for me, that if I had to pinpoint like one thing, actually the biggest thing for me was that I got really good at regulating my emotions when I struggled to do that so much as a fearful avoidant. But the next biggest thing is I could, like, looking back now, and I'm just sharing from pure personal experience, looking back now, I'm like, how did I live like that? Like, it was so painful and so hard to not know how to address things. I would hold things in and they would hurt me and I would push them away and I wouldn't ever talk about them or hash them through or work them out. And that was poison. Like, looking back on that as somebody who's been doing the work for a very long time at this point, and for at least the last decade has been like securely attached and doing the work and addressing things head on. I look back on that, I'm like, oh my gosh, I really carried so much pain because I was scared to address things. I didn't know how to communicate. And you'll just find as you get more secure that it becomes so hard to live like that as you start to see how powerful and meaningful and effective it is to just talk about things directly. Sure, there's a little bit of scariness to it sometimes or a little bit of vulnerability, but that's like a 2% thing compared to the, 80% pain you would carry by not addressing things. So you'll start to see if you're somebody who's like, oh, I don't like to leave conflict unfinished. I don't like to not resolve things or address things if they're bothering me. I try to do it from an open, healthy space. I'm vulnerable and authentic in my communication. Like, those are all really clear signs that you're becoming securely attached. And I really, really from my heart, like, really wish that for anybody listening, because I know firsthand how painful it is to not know how to do that. And by the way, if you are following, I wasn't even going to share this course, but if you want a free resource, like, we have a 14-day free trial. We do this once or twice a year, and literally it will give you access to a communication course called How to Master Conflict Communication fully for free. And even if you're somebody who right now is struggling, you can go in, you can cancel before your 14 days is up. You'll never be charged a penny. You can download the workbook. You can go through the course in the 14 days. It's short enough to get through. Like, let that be my gift to you. If you're struggling with conflict communication, to be like, okay, let me go through this. Let me take the course. Let me learn the steps, because I think personally, now I'm just rambling, but I personally feel like being able to communicate healthily and effectively is probably in the top 3 life skills a person can have. That for me, as somebody who probably scored 0 out of 10 in my past, and now have really fine-tuned my communication and really practiced and put the work in over the years, that has probably been one of the most meaningful things that I've ever built as a personal skill, because of how well it serves you in so many aspects of life and in work and business, in friendships and family relationships and romantic partnerships, in everyday life, meeting people. Like it's so meaningful. So anyways, okay, let me go back. Number 3, you'll find yourself less triggered way less often. And number 4 goes hand in hand. You can actually self-soothe if you are. Okay. So being triggered won't feel like it's the end of the world or like, oh my gosh, I'm triggered. This is so painful. You'll feel like, oh, I'm triggered. This sucks. This is uncomfortable. And you'll get curious. You'll be like, what is triggering me? Do I need to go communicate a need? Do I need to set a boundary with somebody? Do I need to question the story that I'm telling myself that I'm not good enough or I'm unlovable or I'm unworthy? These types of stories that will come up. And you'll learn that feelings are feedback. And wait, my emotions are just literally like giving me feedback that something's out of alignment. I'm telling myself I'm beating up on myself in my internal dialogue and I should stop it. Or, oh, I have an unmet need here. Let me figure out what it is and how to articulate it or meet it for myself. Oh, my boundary's being violated. Let me just go make sure this person knows that's a boundary. And you'll be able to course correct. And then you'll see, oh my gosh, the negative feeling goes away. Because you're solving for the underlying issue that's causing the negative feeling to begin with. Last but not least, you'll develop healthy boundaries. This is sometimes one of the hardest things to get right, to get good at, to make it feel natural, but you'll start actually honoring and communicating about your boundaries as a whole. And I hope that this is something that you give yourself the gift of doing, because having boundaries will give you the opportunity to see like what to say yes to and what to say no to. Again, I'll share from personal experience. This is something I was so terrible at. I had no boundaries. And then in typical fearful avoidant fashion, I would set boundaries from a place of anger because I would have like this buildup of frustration from not having boundaries for so long. And when I learned to just set boundaries in real time, I was like, oh, I started doing this thing. And maybe this is helpful for you as an exercise, where I was like, okay, not only am I going to practice like boundaries if they're clearly violated and telling my no's in real time and really like harnessing, nourishing, I don't know, practicing that skill. But on top of that, so I did a lot of daily exposure work on that, and I would check in with my boundaries on a daily basis and journal and all of that like repetition and emotion to rewire. But another really great practice that I've tried to honor over the past few years as time got busy or like as life got, like you get pulled in lots of different directions and all these exciting things are coming up. I practice being like, okay, I am literally going to set the boundary of saying no unless something is like a 10 out of 10 yes. And at first that was scary because that meant sometimes saying no to like 9 out of 10 yeses where you're like, wow, that feels really good, but it's not exactly a fit for whatever it might be. It could be something that you decide you're going to do with your time on the weekend. It could be something that you do on a project with somebody. And I was like, I'm just going to really honor alignment. I'm really going to honor like exactly what I'm looking for, get really clear, be more patient, and say no to things that don't feel like they're a super, super good fit. Maybe like 9 out of 10, I would say yes to, but like as soon as we get to 8, no way. And at first that was scary, but over time I realized, wow, I actually end up surrounding myself with much better relationships, friendships, things I love to spend my time doing. And I'm like so excited to do instead of things that I'm like, oh yeah, I said yes to this, so I have to go out of obligation. And it just will allow you, it's a form of boundary setting, and it will allow you to be more mindful about what you give your time to and be more fulfilled in your life as a result. If you're somebody who's truly interested in helping others while also securing financial freedom for your future, there is a limited time option to join our 50% off certified relationship coach program. And this is a 12-week program where you can create financial freedom, work from anywhere in the world, and truly make an impact on other individuals' lives by becoming a certified relationship coach in just 12 weeks. Throughout this entire 12 weeks, you will learn all of the tools that you need to discover somebody's attachment style and help them heal and change their attachment style if they are insecurely attached so that they can become secure and build the best relationships of their life. On top of that, you'll learn all about the subconscious mind and how to actually rewire our painful limiting beliefs, our painful behavioral patterns, and help your clients learn their relationship needs, as well as the needs of their loved ones. You'll also learn how to build a thriving coaching practice and set yourself up for long-term success. You'll learn all of the business tips and tools you need to build funnels, leverage marketing strategies, and really thrive in the marketplace. Even if you have absolutely no coaching experience, this certification will give you everything you need starting from scratch to become a thriving relationship coach. You can find more using the link down below. So those are 5 signs. There are many more, but those are 5 really important ones. I hope this is helpful for you today. Thank you so much for stopping by and for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed this video and you don't want to miss any of the future videos that we put out every single day. And if you are struggling with communication and want support, take that course fully for free for a limited time. And it should really help you when it comes to navigating relationships and learning to properly communicate, such an important life skill. Thanks for watching.